The vast majority of news in the U.S. is controlled by 5 huge corporations, and News Voice is fighting back against media monopolies. It's the first ever entirely open, crowdsourced, democratized platform for news. Use the link right underneath this video to download the News Voice app for free. So I was checking out the president's tweets yesterday, and I noticed Donald Trump say, quote, "Great job by Congressman Doug Collins of Georgia over the weekend in representing the Republican Party and myself against the impeachment hoax." And I thought, what the heck? Let's see what Trump's talking about. If he liked it, it must be really weird. And case in point, Republican Congressman Doug Collins was on Fox News Sunday over the weekend. And it is everything that we could have imagined and more. Doug Collins goes on the strangest word salad in defense of Donald Trump, and it makes such little sense that I actually decided to transcribe it for you, which we will put up on the screen momentarily. This is what Donald Trump liked from Doug Collins.
The fact of, is there corruption? So I do not spend dollars that I don't need to spend in the Ukraine because of corruption that was still there.
Okay,
this is an issue.
Let me just ask you a thought experiment. Just bear with me for a minute. Okay. If you believed that the president had used the power of his office to try to get Ukraine to interfere with our elections, if you believe that, would that be an impeachable offense?
I do not believe it, so that I'm not going to answer a hypothetical in which is designed to simply say that the president did something improper. Chris, he did nothing improper. There was nothing about a problematic giving aid to another country in which you're talking about corruption, which he's required to do by law. And it just so happened that a presidential candidate's son, who was getting a massive amount of money from a company that had been under investigation, in which even other witnesses that have been favorable, quote, to the Democrats in the investigation, have said needed to be looked at. This is a problem of overall proportion, but there's nothing here that the president did wrong. And this is the thing that we're going to move forward on.
Okay.
Yeah, so you really have to look at a transcript to see how whacked this is. And I transcribed it. Take a look with me. This is what Doug Collins said, quote, "I do not believe it so that I'm not going to answer a hypothetical in which is designed to simply say that the president did something improper. Chris, he did nothing improper. There's nothing about a problematic giving aid to another country in which you're talking about corruption, which he's required to do by law. And he just so happened that a presidential candidate's son, who is getting in a massive amount of money from a company that had been under investigation, in which me, even other witnesses that have been for favorable quote to the Democrats in the investigation, have said to be looked at, have said needed to be looked at. Sorry. This is a problem of overall proportion, but there's nothing here that the president did wrong. And this is the thing that we're going to move forward on. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. If anybody knows what he's talking about, let me know. Now, I understand he's defending Trump and he's suggesting that Donald Trump did nothing wrong. Like, I understand the tone of it, but I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. Now, it's possible that he and Donald Trump both speak whatever language that is, which is why some people understood what Trump meant by Cobfefi, and Trump presumably understands what this guy said. But it's got to be just the tone. It seemed like this guy was strongly defending Trump, and I guess that's good enough for Donald Trump. There's nothing about a problematic giving aid to another country in which you're talking about corruption, which he's required to do by law. And I started thinking to myself, you know, what has happened to education in our country? What has happened to critical thinking in our country? But Doug Collins went to college. He also has a master's degree, sort of. It's a master's in divinity from some seminary, but still, it's a master's degree. Doug Collins is a lawyer. He has a law degree. And this incoherent word salad, defense of Donald Trump, is the best that he was able to muster up. Either something is very wrong with Doug Collins, or he's simply struggling to defend the indefensible and his brain couldn't handle it. So it resorted to something as nonsensical as this and what you just heard. The saddest thing about all of this is that people who want to defend Donald Trump will watch this video and they won't understand it because it doesn't make any sense, of course. And they'll say to themselves, you know, this Doug Collins guy, he seems super smart and I just don't really understand politics. He must just be talking in a way that is above my head. I'm sure he's making sense, many Trumpists will assume, despite the fact that this guy is making no sense whatsoever, but it'll be enough for them. A strong defense of Donald Trump. Trump was happy with it. Doug Collins seemingly pleased with it. even though it makes no sense whatsoever. That's what Trump liked. That's what Trump found to be a great job done by Congressman Doug Collins. The discourse has been debased, and I'm worried there is no return, at least no return anytime soon.